So once again, it's always all about the South Shore, and of course I'm going to have to call out South Shore 12 again for being South Shore 12. It's all about these people here, and we're going to get to it right here because that's everything they covered today on the South Shore, almost everything. Man dies in Bayshore house fire. That gets 1 minute and 56 seconds. Officers rescue Holbrook man and dog after he jumped into Patchogue water to save his pet. That gets 1 minute and 31 seconds. Rockville Centre, 1 minute and 37 seconds. For Rockville Centre PD, becoming the first in New York to become certified sensory inclusive. Oh, yeah. Only the best, right? Only the best. Heated words spoken by parents at Islip school board meeting. Yeah, 2 minutes and 32 seconds on that. And 2 minutes and 18 seconds on Bellport defending itself against claims of discrimination over access to Fire Island Beach. And, of course, what goes on in the middle of the island? Well, who really cares about this? Nassau County police make first arrest for mask ban violation because this kid was acting suspiciously in Hicksville. Yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? So, yeah, they barely covered this. They don't send a reporter. They just show this here.
As Castillo was walking on Spindle Road in Levittown Sunday night.
Actually, Levittown. My mistake. He's from Hicksville, but he was in Levittown.
The clock, dressed in black and wearing a mask to hide his identity. They say the 18-year-old was acting suspiciously, trying to hide a bulge in his waistband.
This is what we deal with in the middle of the island. So while you all are sitting pretty in Massapequa Park, we've got to live our lives in fear because of people like this on our streets.
Turned out to be a 14-inch knife. Police also say he
This is exactly the kind of people that we have coming to Mineola too, by the way, I might add. Migrants. They're probably illegal.
Used to listen to officers' commands as he was arrested. He's now facing charges, including violating the Mask Transparency Act and as well as a weapons charge.
Yep. Barely covered that. We also barely covered this, too. Man arrested after flashing gun at Tony's Taco employee in Franklin Square. Oh, who cares about Franklin Square? They're not important. So we're going to barely cover it. Yeah.
Flashing a gun at a Nassau County restaurant. In a Nassau County restaurant, I should say. We first showed you this video yesterday inside Tony's Tacos in Franklin Square. Now, it looks like the man also grabbed a woman by her arm. Detectives tell us 62-year-old Kevin Warren is now facing a menacing charge and is due in court.
Only 22 seconds. Very disturbing. You have people like this in the community. Violent people. This is what we deal with in the middle of the island. But nobody really cares because it's the middle of the island, right? We're not important. So, yeah. Let's talk about the only thing that South Shore 12 covered properly in the middle of the island was really the North Shore. But this is about
left behind by
Governor Hochul touring the damage from the historic storm in Suffolk County.
Look at the damage left behind by last week's historic storm. News 12's Kurt Semner spoke with the governor about what the state's planning to do to help those who were impacted.
Governor Hochul, along with Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine, joined with residents and other officials to survey the damage from last week's heavy rainfall and flooding. She says her teams have been assessing the damage all across the island, expected to surpass the $37.5 million threshold that's needed to apply for more federal funding. She added it's not only important that they build back quickly, but do it smartly as well.
When we build back, and I mean when, the road, the dam, we must add in resiliency measures to ensure that we are protected from what could be another 1,000-year event next year.
We think the standard of yesteryear can't apply to what we're facing today and into.
Ed Romaine has been talking a lot about climate change. I really like this guy. He's probably one of the better Suffolk County executives that we've seen.
The future.
The governor also
Too bad we
discussed
can't have
grant
something
money,
like that in
saying
Nassau,
families that earn 150% of the area median income, or around
destruction
$234,000 or less, will qualify.
If you're not being reimbursed by insurance, you can apply for $50,000 to just start the cleanup. We just raised that to $150,000.
Those were the kind of details people were seeking just a few minutes down the road at Stony Brook University, where members of the State Department of Finance were offering assistance. However,
To me, it was a total waste of time. It's nothing I didn't know before I got here.
Many people echoed that statement, saying they were simply told to go to the FEMA website. Christina isn't sure what to do as she continues cleaning up her home in Selden.
I will try to do what I could at the moment, try to protect our family, try to protect our children, from all this water damage and the mold and everything else. But, it's just at some point you just feel hopeless,
Yeah, climate change is
was
pretty
Kurt Sumner
hopeless thing,
reporting
let
the
me tell
governor
you.
applauded the White House for declaring a federal emergency for Suffolk County. That will allow for direct federal assistance and for FEMA to take action. No word on when that'll happen.
So, yeah. That kid, at least they gave it 2 minutes and 2 seconds. But still, somehow, Islip's a little more important because they get 2 minutes and 32 seconds on some stupid thing nobody cares about. Do you want to hear these snobs? Well, you're going to hear them.
Did words tonight at an Islip school board meeting. Parents firing questions at the superintendent as he speaks publicly.
All white, all in their own little world.
The first time about photos he says he took while working his summer job as a lifeguard. News 12's Tama Ponton was at tonight's tense meeting.
I believe he should be under suspension right now. If this were any other employee, they would not be sitting in front of me, but...
You only got that Valley Girl voice. I mean, really. I mean, this is the way they talk down there. I mean, it's Snobville, but you gotta be with them if you want to matter.
Here we are.
Islip parents tonight voicing their frustration, concern, and fears as Superintendent Dennis O'Hara speaks to the community.
Every person involved in the situation is an adult. There were no teenagers involved.
As we reported, O'Hara, who also worked as a lifeguard in the summer, sent 2 apology letters to the community in a matter of weeks. In the first letter, he said he sent a complaint that included a photo of one lifeguard to the State Parks Department, saying they were not in an official uniform. He later apologized to the board.
So he took pictures of other lifeguards. Really? 2 minutes and 32 seconds on this? But again, it's all about these spoiled people in their own world. Look at how spoiled they are. Meanwhile, I got to worry about walking down the street in my own neighborhood.
Community for, quote, creating this distraction. But then he sent a second letter saying his apology was insufficient and should have been more direct. He also admitted to taking 4 or 5 pictures of 2 on-duty female lifeguards. Parents say...
So, I mean, it's wrong, but it's not a crime. But this gets 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Look at these snobs. I mean, they are so entitled in their own world. If that's the least of your problems, you are very, very lucky. You could be in a lot worse school. There are a lot worse school districts you could be in on Long Island, like Wyandanch, like Hempstead, like Westbury, and soon to be Mineola, too, because Mineola's going down the tubes fast. But these people don't care. They're in their own world. They haven't a clue as to how we're suffering.
They are frustrated by his changing story and the board's handling of the matter.
People.
We don't find this appropriate.
Definitely, I think it was a lapse in judgment on his part.
To put all the parents in Islip at rest. If we asked for all of your cell phone records, would you give them to us?
There isn't one person of color there. Not one person of color.
For its part, the board says they accept the
Why do you
superintendent's
think
apology.
this is getting such attention? Now, you think if this happened in Hempstead, and there weren't many, and it was in a mostly black community, you think they'd cover it? No, they wouldn't cover it because it affects the white people. You see the double standard going on here.
But
should any additional crucial facts emerge that the board is not currently aware of?
Islip is a very well-to-do area. It's an enclave. Again, if you want to matter on Long Island, you have to be with these people. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with the crap I deal with.
The board certainly reserves the right to revisit its acceptance in his apology.
parents say this issue is far from resolved.
I hope it's all true for the sake of everybody here.
Really, that's the you could have to worry about gangs in your schools. You'd have to worry about drugs in your schools or crime. These people are upset about something so stupid as this. It's unbelievable.
Now the superintendent claims that he can back up everything that he's saying. He says he's got an eyewitness, time and date stamps, and multiple supervisors can confirm all of this. Now, as far as the state parks department, they say that O'Hara is no longer scheduled to work as a lifeguard. And after this meeting tonight, one person standing out here saying, quote, "I cannot believe that he's still going to be working here. The anger and frustration of these parents cannot be understated here."
Who cares? As what's his name from Family Guy said, who the hell cares? Seriously. 2 minutes and 31 seconds on this. Are you kidding me? News 12. South Shore 12. South Shore 12 because you're being South Shore 12 today. You don't feel like covering what matters to us in the middle of the island. All right, this was something they should have covered. All right, fire. However, I want to play a little bit of a clip from this because they interviewed one of the women here.
And we have a tragic update this evening here
Unfortunately,
in Bayshore.
a man died in a house fire here.
Just learned 77-year-old Artemio
in
Gonzalez
Bayshore.
died as a result of today's fire. Suffolk police tell us an officer, a Good Samaritan, and a family member pulled him from the home after he became trapped inside. That fire tore through the roof and sent smoke billowing into the air. An afternoon house fire in North Bayshore took the life of one person, injured 2 firefighters, and destroyed a home.
It was white smoke, black smoke, gray smoke.
Why is she happy? Why are you happy? Somebody's home was destroyed, somebody lost their lives, and you're smiling?
It really, little by little, it just filled the whole sky.
Joy Silva says she could see the smoke get darker from her home a few blocks away as the fire burned on.
I said, get inside. I told my son, my dog, everyone get...
Why is she happy? Seriously.
Get inside because the smell
The people in the South Shore.
was very strong.
The Brentwood Fire Department...
People in the South Shore are just so... I don't know, they're in their own world. I don't get it, man. Meanwhile, of course, Hicksville fire. See, when we go to this... You'll see, probably barely covered, right? Actually, no, they did cover it for 2 minutes and 26 seconds. This was back, This is back on August 5th. All right, they did cover that. Fair enough. But you know, the way people act on the South Shore, just, I mean, horrible. Somebody died, man. Why are you smiling? I don't understand what's with these people, man. I don't understand it. Let's go to the next one. Here's another story on the South Shore.
It's for a Holbrook man and his dog. Both got stuck in the waters off Patchogue in the
And if you got stuck in the water in the Pine Barrens, well, sorry. Nobody would help you.
middle of the night.
But it's on the South Shore, so hey.
Dowd tells us about their ordeal and who came to their rescue.
For me, it's pretty traumatizing because that's like my everything, my dog. So that was like pretty crazy. I had to go in, save her.
Ethan Bracco was crabbing in Patchogue overnight, getting some crabs for his grandmother, he says, when his 2-year-old dog, Brina, jumped in the water.
The moment I saw her, I, threw everything down, jumped in, and I, tried to get as quick as I can to her. Oh, it was pretty hard because I couldn't touch the bottom. So I have a 100-pound dog on my shoulder. I'm trying to tread. So, it's pretty hard.
It was no small feat because Brina is no small dog.
I basically put her on the ladder because my phone was on the dock. So I put her on the ladder, climbed up, called 911, put on speaker, on the edge, and I jumped back in so I could hold her. I was kind of treading and holding her.
Until these SCPD Marine Bureau officers arrived to the rescue.
Felt like a movie scene or something. It's police everywhere.
Luckily he got rescued.
Boat.
Think if it happened on the North Shore, you think he would have been
pretty crazy.
Ethan says crabbing is
Probably
a new
not.
hobby for him, so being on the water was new for Brina.
Just everything. I had her since a baby, so.
So, go to the next one here. 2 minutes and 18 seconds on this one. Bellport defends itself against claims of discrimination over access to Fire Island Beach. Yes, because Bellport Village wants to claim that a beach is their own beach. because Bellport Village is a majority white village, and of course they want to make sure that's only for their own kind.
But first, claims this afternoon that some Long Islanders are being denied access to a popular Suffolk beach. News 12's Caroline Flynn is joining us now with new information about what's being done. Caroline?
Good for Brookhaven Town. They're trying to fight this.
Well, Tara, we're at Town Hall here in the town of Brookhaven because we just wrapped up a press conference. But this story really focuses on Ho Hum Beach, which is a fire island beach that is supposed to be open for access to all town of Brookhaven residents. Now, the town of Brookhaven says the problem is the only way to get there is a ferry for Village of Bellport residents only. Brookhaven Supervisor Dan Panico said he's tried working with the village to get residents over to the beach and resorted this weekend to chartering water taxis, as he says he has been met with constant hurdles from the village.
I'm glad Dan Panico was saying, you know what, we're going to get people into that beach whether they like it or not.
The Village of Bellport mayor told News 12 in a statement that the ferry is paid for by village taxpayers and that routinely opportunities to enjoy Ho Hum are given to residents, adding, Panico chooses media stunts over coordinating with village leadership and has not responded to my attempts to reach him, to meet with and work out a path forward. Now, Brookhaven residents we spoke to who do not pay village taxes but say they live close by, in surrounding minority communities, well, they explained that this feels like discrimination.
Yep.
Something Wilkins
It
Young
is.
said he left Alabama to escape.
Feels like 1956, 1963.
Yep, this is what it is on Long Island. At least News 12 covered this because it affects the South Shore. But this is exactly the way people of color are treated on Long Island. It's like the South here. That's what it has become.
That's what I'm starting to feel around here. And that's the reason I'm kind of upset, because I got grandkids, I got great-grandkids, and I want them to have the same opportunities that I had once I left.
And what we also heard from the supervisor here in Brookhaven is that they have legal counsel who are pursuing this matter because they say there is a 2018 resolution that explains again that these Brookhaven residents, all Brookhaven residents, are entitled to use this beach. Now, what is going to happen for the duration of the summer? The supervisor said he will continue to charter those water taxis. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this story. But for now, Tara, back to you.
Good for him. I'm glad they're doing the right thing. Brookhaven Town has really come a long way, and it's shame on the Village of Bellport for trying to have segregation. But that's the way these people are in their little South Shore enclaves. They want it only for their own kind, and then others they just don't allow it. Whether it be going to the beach or whether it's trying to live there, they only want it for their own kind. They only want it for their own kind. That's it. I think that's almost... No, we got one more here on the South Shore for you. Yep, 1 minute and 37 seconds here. Rockville Centre PD becomes the first in New York to become certified sensory inclusive. That's right, only the best for them, right?
The police department is making history. It's the first department in the state trained in a program to help people with invisible disabilities. News 12's crime reporter.
It's funny because you won't allow people with disabilities to rent apartments there. It's kind of funny.
Krista McNally explains.
I was diagnosed on the autism spectrum at age 2.
Rockville Centre native Sean Culkin has spent his life working to make the community more inclusive.
Well, you could be more inclusive to people in supportive housing, because I would love to live there and get out of this miserable place that I'm in.
Culkin is now an ambassador with Culture City, a nonprofit that provides training and bags for sensory accessibility and acceptance.
When our sensory bags are used, more peaceful outcomes are more likely to occur.
In the bag are noise-canceling headphones, fidget tools, and a feeling chart to provide people a sense of comfort.
Safety, little sense of being okay, not to be anxious.
RVC Blue Speaks pitched the idea of sponsoring and training the Rockville Centre Police Department through this program.
Sat down with them and said, you got to think about doing this. Boy, did they take a hold of it, and they ran.
We live in a very high-stressed environment, right, in the world that we live in, and to have just another piece of equipment on our person or in our vehicles, it helps us.
All of the 12 Rockville Centre Police Department patrol cars are equipped with these sensory inclusive bags, and the entire department has been trained on how to use them.
This training is used in other police departments throughout the United States. but none locally until now.
The first municipality in the entire state of New York. We're so grateful.
It means the world to me that a
Okay.
community stepped up for people like me and many other with invisible disabilities like autism, PTSD, ADHD, dementia.
In Rockville Centre, Kristen.
So try to make it seem like they're inclusive, but yet when it comes to me trying to find an apartment there, sorry. You know, that's what really gets me. Still don't see anyone of color in that story either, by the way. Okay, so it kind of covers, I don't usually make these videos very much because I got to fight like hell to get out of where I'm living, but, it was so obvious what was going on in the news today. I had to talk about this. I couldn't be silent. Yeah, and this, all right, we'll go to this last little clip here so you can see how the people in their enclaves are celebrating, all the chosen ones.
Your favorite part of summer on Long Island is?
I would say the beaches. I would say parties like this. It's got to be the beach.
Beach concerts. Things like this. Good people getting together, have a few drinks. Nothing better.
Real diverse crowd there, right?
Right now we are at Park in the Dark, which is one of my favorite things because we get to see our community come together. We get to see all our friends, all the restaurants. It's amazing.
I would say mostly the beach and just being outdoors, being able to go walk the boardwalk.
All the chosen ones here, they're in their own happy little world.
Just spending time
The
with
rest of
friends
us aren't
and
allowed
family
part
while
of.
it's a little quieter.
Definitely being able to go to the beach and spend nights even sitting on the sand, enjoying music.
I just like hanging out with my boys, drinking some beers in the backyard. I would have to say heading out east.
There's such choices.
All right, that's enough. So, this is what happens on Long Island, folks. If you can't be part of this exclusive group of privileged white people, then you are going to suffer with all the problems. And if you don't like it, well, you know where you're going to have to wind up going. Somewhere else other than Long Island. It's unbelievable. Here we are in 2024 talking about white privilege. Good night.